down and troubled, and you need some loving care, and nothing is going right. Just close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up, oh, even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you've got to do is call on, and I'll be there, yeah, yes, I'll be there. You got a friend. If the sky high above you should grow dark and full of clouds, and that old cold north wind should begin to blow, just keep your poor head together now, and call my name out loud.
You can see behind us by all the flashing lights. We wanted to see what first responders were out here doing. We heard that power lines were down. We had no idea the magnitude of all of this. As you can see, we have one power line almost ripped right in half. The lines are tangled in the stoplights. The lines to the left of it are just hanging down. We had BGE crews. Actually, we were standing there on that corner. BGE crews came up to us and said, these are live, these are dangerous power lines. We needed to move, so we came across the street. As you can see here along Baltimore Boulevard, you can't really see the down power line behind that BGE crew, but there is a truck underneath of it. A power line fell directly onto a truck, and one of the arms of the tops of the power line pierced the
All right, folks, welcome to Sports Talk with Chris Heidel tonight on a Tuesday. Normally we don't do Tuesday nights, but last night we had a bad storms in this area. They raced through central Maryland, and I have no power where I am at my office, so we're in the other office on the other side of town here tonight here on the program, and we appreciate you all taking some time for joining us here tonight. It's a tough night for here, we're going to try to get it done. Everybody we talk to are going to be our guests. We have some changes in the schedule. We will let you guys know do it throughout the show. Coming up in a minute here, we'll talk to our good friend Pete Shimrick, the head coach of Towson University, getting ready for his first fall camp. We'll talk to him, see how he's doing. That's Adam Rise, our good friend, and Matt Ceccanelli. That was on yesterday's date, 1971. That was the best-selling single for James Taylor with You Got a Friend. That reached number 4 in the UK on that same day. So that's not bad.
Yeah. I always liked James Taylor.
Yeah, good old James Taylor. So,
yes.
Let's bring in the head coach of Towson University. His father, if you just came to Maryland for the first time, his father is well known around here because of his days with the Baltimore Colts and all that stuff. And we'll talk about more Baltimore stuff later. So let's bring in the coach, Coach Shimrick, with us here on the program, and Matt Ceccanelli is joining us as well. Hey, Coach, how you doing? And thank you so much for coming on Tuesday night. Are you okay from yesterday's damage from this wild storms we had?
Yeah, we do have a few trees down. There's a couple trees down in the neighborhood that I live in, and then we were in a team meeting when that thing hit right through us.
Wow!
And man, that was a heck of a storm. We kept our guys inside until it subsided so that they could get the dinner. But yeah, that was some strong winds there now.
Yeah. You haven't seen that since you've been down in Florida, right?
Well, you know, they said tornado. We're very familiar with hurricanes, and
exactly.
Lived through a couple of those, no doubt.
Yeah. So how's camp going so far? I know you guys just started. Are you in your first full week or second full week?
Yeah, we just finished practice 5 this morning. Guys have done a really good job. Very pleased with where we're at. Had a really good summer. Came in I think very good shape. So we've just been progressing day by day, trying to get back to the place of, you know, understanding everything that we're trying to do. You go through spring ball, you get 15 practices. You know, we're trying to get all that stuff installed and seeing how much they can handle, and been really pleased so far.
Yeah, I was down at College Park the other day for media day, and I was trying to, you know, bring some power of the Tigers down there to see if we could get them all fired up. And there's some players, you know, are, you know, looking forward to play you guys in week 1. You know, it's, you know, the running back from Aberdeen, Ron Irby. It's pretty cool to take on a local school. You know, he's from Aberdeen. He's from Edgewood, so
Sure.
You know, he's pretty cool. You know, he said it's cool to do that. But everybody else is just getting ready for camp, and you know, with this wild west of everybody changing realignments and all that stuff, it's like it's getting to the point like you're like, anybody's going to stop before we start playing? You know, they might move into a new league before September 1st.
Well, I'll tell you that the Big Ten, holy mackerel. I mean, you talk about some travel now.
Yes.
I mean, that is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, UCLA and Maryland. I mean, holy mackerel. I mean, that's going to take forever.
Yeah, Coach, they were saying the other night on SportsCenter, Oregon to Maryland, it's like 2,400 miles, you know, from Oregon to here. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like, who wants to spend that time in a plane? You know, that's retarded.
Not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely in different times, gentlemen. I mean, we're in a completely different era of college football, and we'll see if it's for the better. I'm not sure yet, but we'll have a time to evaluate it, and I'm sure you guys will talk quite a bit about it. So that'll be good.
We're going to try to do like a roundtable discussion next week or so with people from, like, you know, because we loved the Pac-12 when we were kids, and it's like it's going to be gone. It's like, you know, who's going to be taking the Rose Bowl? Who's going to take the Sun Bowl? Who's going to take all the cool bowl games? It's like, you know, like it's going to be like Big Ten versus Big Ten West. Like, what? Yeah, it's like, come on now, give me a break. Yeah, but anyway, you're going to
my dad and brother. Yeah, my dad and brother went to UCLA, and so my dad was in the Pac-6,
right?
And my brother was in, you know, the Pac-10.
Yeah, I remember them days.
You know, so now to see it's the Pac-4 or whatever it is right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned the Rose Bowl. To me, that was the iconic one. You know,
Yes.
that was the one that you just sat there and said, all right, that one's unique.
Right. Exactly. It is unique. It's like the grandfather of them all. You know, like Keith Jackson used to say that, the granddaddy of them all.
Yep.
You know?
Oh, I miss Keith Jackson.
Yeah.
I miss.
Yeah. Now it's like, is it going to be Tulane in Michigan? You know, you know, like, no, thank you. So anyway, so let's talk about how was you know you're getting rid of this new, with the conference changing its name, our conference, the Colonial Athletic Conference, to the Coastal Conference. I feel like they should have kept the Colonial, because if you do some history, and like me in history, I used to pay attention in history class, they were called the Colonial States back in the 1700s. So why change it? What's your take on it?
Yeah, you know, our commissioner announced that, and, you know, kind of makes sense. Now we're down in Carolina. We're all the way up the coast. I think just, you know, really representative of, you know, the future of this conference. I mean, we're looking at 15 football teams, and I know there's a handful of others that, you know, don't play football. So quite a conference, to be honest with you, and probably, you know, super conference from the standpoint of, you know, playoff accessibility and, you know, what has taken place. And, you know, week in and week out, I think everybody knows that when you're in the CAA playing football, you're going to get challenged. You're going to have great competition, and you're going to go against great coaches. I think that's one of the things that has been very evident of this league for a long time, having watched it and having seen it and seen a lot of playoff games on TV. Is I'm always looking for a game, you know, to watch. And the CAA just really represented extremely well. And that's a credit to the coaches and the programs in the conference.
Yeah, coming up at 9:05, we have Coach Fleming from Rhode Island, who's a good friend of ours on the program. So I'd like talking to him because he's like that old school. He coached down in Florida with the Gators, so he knows the SEC a little bit. It's like the SEC as well, and this is almost like an SEC type league.
Yes.
Without Alabama and Auburn in it, right?
Yeah, I think one of the beauties and the conference that we were in Division II, from 2015 to 2023, somebody in the conference, the Gulf South Conference, either played in the national championship or made it to the Final Four. And so when you look at the CAA, that was one of the things that I felt like you play great football in your conference, then you got an opportunity to go excel in the playoffs. You're not shocked by what you're seeing. You saw that week 6, you saw that week 9, you saw that week 11. And so in this conference, preseason polling, I think 5 of our teams are ranked, and I think 2 others are getting votes. So, half our league is, represented in the top 40 in the country. And I think that's extremely impressive. And it makes our job that much more challenging. And we know we've got our work cut out for us. And every day we're striving to be the best version of what we can be.
Exactly. Adam, you had a question?
Yeah. Talking about the Gulf South Conference, I read that I believe this year Division II is celebrating 50 years of the division. So for people who may not be familiar with the Gulf South Conference, tell us about some of the conference's history and what was it like to coach there?
Well, it was one of the reasons I took the job, and also one of the reasons why I came to Towson, because of the conference. Very, very, obviously, I'd hate to be Oregon State right now. I hate to be Washington State. So, the Gulf South Conference has an amazing history, and like I said, from 2000 for an 8-year run, one of our teams was playing for the national championship or they were in the Final Four. And so West Georgia went to the Final Four twice. We went to the Final Four once. We went to the national championship twice. Valdosta went to the national championship 3 times. North Alabama went 1 time. And, the history of that league, that included Troy. That included, a bunch of really good football teams. And so, nothing but great respect for that league and the coaches in there. Again, I think it's a very well-coached league. We knew week in and week out that we were going to have to be at our best to win it. And to give you an example of, just how good a league it is, we went to the national championship twice and we didn't win the league. We finished second in the league. We didn't win the league until the last 2 years, where we were co-champs, one time with Valdosta and one time with Delta. And so it was tough every week. It was difficult to, game plan for people. And I expect the same thing here in the CAA because it's got a great reputation, and what we've seen on film so far holds up to that reputation.
That's true. It is a great league because I've been around this league since we started doing this like years ago, Coach. And I'm really impressed by how every Saturday is like, you don't know who's going to beat who. You have one team that could be 1-10, and you can knock off the top team in the league. And there's nobody's undefeated in this league at all. No, it's always somebody has a loss. It's like when James Madison was doing their thing before they went to the Sun Belt. It's like everybody wants to knock James Madison off. Now it's like this league is like, who's that person? Who's that going to be that team? Is it William and Mary? They defined last year. Is it going to be New Hampshire, who we know the coach real well up there too, or it could be Towson. Towson could be that team this year that everybody be like, hey, they finally turned it around. It could be your best year you ever had. You never know.
No doubt. No, and why not us? And again, you mentioned William and Mary, you mentioned New Hampshire, Rhode Island. Delaware team. Elon made it to the playoffs. Richmond had a pretty good run there. Richmond obviously has made it to the national championship, won a national championship, and so I think there's so many teams week in and week out that are good. We added North Carolina A&T. We added Campbell. Both of them have had good runs in the past. So, we know we're going to be challenged. We expect to have great competition, and, we're fired up. We get to open up at Maryland. I think that's going to be a great time for our guys and a great opportunity to see where we're at. But, week 2, we host Monmouth league game. We got to
Yes.
be dialed in and we got to be ready to go.
Yeah, and then you got Morgan State on the 16th, battle of Baltimore, and we know the coach real well at Morgan State. Was a good friend of mine, Coach Wilson, who I did games for Bowie State way back in the day. So him and I are such good friends, and and I feel bad when he loses bad because I'm like, oh man, come on, dude, And I feel like this year you're just the same way with Towson, like I feel like I know you for like 6 years, and I just met you back in like February, or something like that, and. And then I feel like Towson. Like, what will Towson do? What's the feel? I know everybody looks at it now. Like September 2nd is coming up. What if you go down to College Park and just annihilate Maryland to the point like people? What is the world going to say? Like, oh my God, Towson just went down to College Park and took care of the Terrapins, who were supposed to be Big Ten champs this year. And they have number 3, who is his brother plays for the Dolphins. So.
Hey, I like the prediction. I appreciate that. So we're going to do everything we can. Our guys are really working hard and putting themselves in a great spot. So we're excited about that opening game and excited to go out and see what kind of football we can play.
Exactly. Matt, you have the last question for Coach because we're going to wrap it up because we saw Maryland in spring game, so they look pretty good, but that spring game is different than fall camp, right?
Yes. So since you guys are playing Maryland coming up on September 2nd, so what are some things that you guys so like what are the keys to the game with in order to pull off a big upset?
Yeah, I think anytime you play up and anytime you have the opportunity to go into somebody's home that is highly expected to defeat you, you got to do a couple things really well. All right. And so number one, you got to be great with the football. And so we've got to protect the football. We've got to hold on to the football. And then we've got to create some turnovers that, happen to obviously our advantage at the right time. And, I like what we're doing on special teams. And, I think we can have the opportunity for some plays there. Typically that makes it happen. You think back to, Appalachian State versus Michigan.
Yep.
You just remember some of the games that are out there. Something good's got to go your way, and something's got to break for you. And you got to take a group in there that's going to believe, have a lot of fun doing it, enjoy the process, and then see where it goes. Got a very talented defense, got a very talented offense. I mean, they're in the Big Ten for a reason. Coach has done a great job building that program. Bowl game last year. So, I mean, it'll be a heck of a challenge for us. But, again, we got to create some turnovers. We got to hold on to the ball. We got to make something happen in special teams and just play sound every other play of the game. That's true. Well, Coach, thanks so much for coming on tonight. Thanks for being such patient with us with the wonderful weather we had yesterday. And we hope to get you on that week of August 28th. We'll preview more of this Maryland Towson thing, and we'll see how we'll go a little more in depth with you, and maybe we'll get a couple players on probably. No, look forward to it. Appreciate you guys, and glad you all survived the weather. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Have a great evening.
All right, you too.
All right, see you. Bye. All right, that's the head coach of Towson University, Coach Pete Chimerick, who his father. We didn't talk about the Baltimore Colts stuff. Before we welcome the coach from McDaniel College, I do need to touch on some stuff we had. We had stuff scheduled last night, and we were going to talk, but I did have an opportunity on Friday to go see the Mets take on the Orioles, and
you did.
Yeah, so I just wanted to tell you, here's a little highlight of that not so amazing weekend in Charm City for the Mets. So, let's bring this up here. Hold on a second.
The mountain, Felix Bautista has emerged as the greatest game-closing force in the American League. Vientos at second and 2 down. So it's left to Vogelbach. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And for the Orioles, this is 70, as in 70 wins on August the 6th. Bautista completes the shutout. The Orioles sweep away the Mets. They're now 28 games north of 500.
The Orioles on MLB, but to me, 6 runs in 3 days in Camden Yards. That's terrible there, Adam and Matt. That's really unacceptable for me.
And Chris, don't forget, now the Orioles have 70 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody expected this start of the year. So, the Orioles could go really deep in the MLB playoff.
They can.
It's called, and I saw this earlier today. 8 weeks starts the MLB postseason.
Right, exactly. And if you look at the MLB postseason, let me bring it up real quick. I have a picture of that. I was going to talk to you guys about it. Where did I put it? It's on here. Hold on, let me bring it up here.
I honestly think Adam and Chris that the Orioles can make the World Series.
Well, it all depends on how they get done, dude. If they keep this going, but here's the thing: they haven't had the tough of September yet.
No.
So if the playoffs started today, folks, guess who's in the clubhouse? Is the number 1 seed in the American League?
The Baltimore. And look who's the number 1. Hey, Chris.
They're playing the cheaters of Houston right now. They're beating the Astros 5-0 in the third. But
hey, Chris, take a look who's number 1 in the NL.
I know.
Yeah, the Braves.
I know.
Because we could see an Atlanta Braves and the Baltimore Orioles in the World Series.
Well, it should have been happening in 1997. Yeah, yes, but both the Orioles and Braves lost in the NLCS. So
yes,
so let's move on and get back to some college football. Adam, bring in this next guest.
Sure. Our next call, we go from FCS now to Division III in the state of Maryland. So we've got the interim head coach of McDaniel College joining us tonight. So let's bring in the coach, and thanks so much for joining us, and I'll talk about what it's gonna be like, to the start of the season.
Oh, we're definitely, thanks guys for having me, and it's a pleasure here, and we're definitely excited to get things started. We got some new players coming in and freshmen, and we got a nice mix of returners that are coming back, and our coaches have been working for the last 10 days, just getting ready for camp, and we're definitely, excited about the, future, kind of having a little bit of a mix of old things and more new things, and just kind of relaying the foundation of McDaniel College football.
Exactly. Well, Coach Dave, you're the interim coach. So when was the phone call like, getting the phone call saying, hey, would you like to be the coach this year? Because the other guy just went, where did he go? We had him on last year, and he just bolted out of town.
Yeah, he just resigned. And that was for decisions that was above me. But it was kind of funny you ask. I was fishing in Canada with my dad and my wife, and came in the next day and got back, and Coach White said he was going to resign, and I was like, okay. And then 24 hours later, I was given the opportunity to be the interim head football coach here, and it's been a exciting time, getting the staff together, getting, keeping the recruits that we have coming in on board, getting, returners back on board, getting guys on board. And it's been an exciting kind of whirlwind of a summer. I was joking with my wife, and I said, this is the most I've worked in, June and July in a long time, but it's definitely going to be, worth it, here down the road.
That's true. Yeah. And you guys started, did you start camp? When you start camp now?
Actually, we check in tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. The guys are going to start rolling in, and we'll have our first walkthrough on the 10th, which is Thursday.
Wow. So walkthrough right away before we start, pads.
Well, we got to, we're changing some things, just trying to relay the foundation, and just want to kind of, I don't want to say ease into things, but start with a really great teaching approach, whether we're doing stretch, whether we're doing inside drill, however we're practicing, just make sure that the players and the coaches are all on the same page, and because there's going to be some new things, and we're excited about that.
Adam, take over. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay? Now, for people who don't watch Division III football on tell them why they should watch. Tell them why they should watch.
Oh, I mean, it's a great. I mean, I've been fortunate to coach at, D2, D3. I played D3 at Mount Union College and had a great experience. And it's just an opportunity to come watch good, high quality football. And I think if people, open their minds to it and go to a local game, and you're going to see, I mean, it's still grown men, playing football. And one of the best things I ever heard was a few years ago recruiting Coach Joe Hayden up at Harrisburg in PA. He, we were talking about D2, D3, D1, and hey, it's all the same. The only difference is that 3 or 4 minutes before kickoff and the size of the tunnel that we run down. We have morning weights here at McDaniel. They have morning weights at, Maryland and Penn State. We're going to have study hall. They're going to have study hall at Maryland and Penn State. So it's still college football. It's just I'm not going to degrade it. It's college football. We just, do things a little bit different. We're not there on scholarship, but we're still working to win. Coaches are still working hard to win. Administrators want answers for wins and losses, and it's just a great brand of football.
And when you were everyone knows Mount Union when it comes to Division III football. So what was it like to play for a legendary team like the Purple Raiders?
Oh, it was awesome. I had a great experience. I'm not going to be shy about it and hide behind it. I mean, I was a career backup. I knew my role, and that's probably why I got into coaching. That's probably why I enjoy, the aspect of coaching college football, because it gives guys an opportunity to continue to play. But my experience at Mount Union was unbelievable, and I love Mount Union. I always will. But it was just a great experience to be around a lot of great players, and obviously, Coach Karras. If you ask me, he's the GOAT, but, some people might argue that, but he was a great coach to play for and just had a really, great experience.
And you were at Grand Valley State, and you actually, while there, you won a national championship.
Yeah,
so,
I got.
What was that like? Hoisting the Division II national championship.
That was quite an experience, because I just got fortunate, got on with the good staff as the assistant offensive line coach / graduate assistant. And, we put a run together, and just to say I've won a Division III national championship and a Division II national championship is a pretty unique, experience in my career. And I'll be honest, I mean, I got a little bit humbled, and I got a little bit, I thought it was easier than it was at times. You win a few at, Mount Union, then you go to Wartburg College. And, when I was there, we were 30-3 and made the national playoffs. And then you end up at Grand Valley and you win another national championship, and you're like, hey, this is pretty easy, but it was awesome.
Hey, Matt, you got a question for Coach?
Yeah, Coach. So since you are the interim coach right now, so what are some obstacles and challenges that you faced, and how have you overcome them?
The biggest one was, getting a staff together, and I'm extremely excited about, our staff. We got a good mix of guys that decide to stay on board with me, and then we have an opportunity to hire some new coaches. We had an opportunity to hire some local coaches that are, in a part-time role for us. We had an opportunity to get some, alumni that are back here on staff. So that was, the biggest obstacle, but with the help of administration and just being patient and, having the opportunity to interview some guys was great. And the administration was really supportive of, allowing us to hire some people with, the interim tag. And I'm fortunate that the guys that we were able to hire didn't balk at the interim tag, because they want to come in here and be a part of, the foundation that we're laying down. And I can't thank them enough.
So what are you and your other coaches' goals for the upcoming season? I mean, I know you probably want to win every game, but like, what's like your? I would say, like, I know every coach and assistant coaches, they all have goals. So what are your goals?
Well, I think, I know our number one goal is obviously to have kids graduate. And I know that sounds like coaches talk, but our goal as a program is to produce a team, produce a quality program that at the end of the year that we're proud of. And again, that sounds like coaches talk, but if we're doing that, the wins are going to take care of themselves. Because if you're producing a product that you're excited about, then that means you're doing the little things. That means you're getting up and you're going to weights, you're watching extra film, you're asking your position coach questions. You're locked in during the game. Like if you're injured, you're getting in the athletic training room and getting extra rehab. So our goal isn't going to waver. I'm not going to sit here and talk in front of our team about wins and losses, but we want to make sure that we produce a product that we're proud of. Because when you do that, that means that you're going to be successful, because the little things are going to make the big goals possible.
And when also for the upcoming season, who are some of the key players that we have to look out for?
Well, that's in our situation, it's a little bit unique in the sense that we have some incoming freshmen and we have a nice mix of returning players. Like we have an all-conference linebacker and Mike Dunn coming back from Florida. We have on the defensive line we have Montez coming back. We have Michael Cunningham coming back. We have I'm going through the roster in my head. I apologize real quick. On the offensive side of the ball, we got Sean Carter, who's played a lot of snaps back from PA. We got a local receiver in Hunter Sigler coming back, who caught a lot of big plays for us. And I know I'm missing some guys, and I apologize, but we have a nice mix of older guys coming back and a nice mix of incoming freshmen that we're excited about.
And talk to us about the Centennial Conference and what's it mean, for you to play in this division, to coach in this Division III conference?
Oh, it's a great conference. I mean, I was, I've been here for this going into my third season, and being a Midwest guy, and coming into the conference, you learn pretty quickly that number one, there's schools that want to win games. I mean, I think at one point last year or 2 years ago, we had 3 nationally ranked teams. I mean, you go 2 years ago, Mount Union played Muhlenberg and Johns Hopkins back-to-back weekends in the D3 playoffs. And, I mean, to have 2 teams advance to the second and third round, I mean, that just tells you the strength of your league. And then first and secondly, that there's some great coaches in this league. I mean, there's guys that have been in the Big Ten. There's guys that have been multiple year head coaches. There's guys that are alumnus of their school, so they have great pride. I mean, these guys in this league, I mean, they're here to win, on the field, in recruiting. So it's a great league, and we're fortunate to play in a league like this, and we can always sell that to recruits. Like, hey, you get a chance to play in a great league, and all the games are within 2.5 hours of your house, so your family and friends can be a part of it.
And you guys play Johns Hopkins, and Johns Hopkins is known as a lacrosse school, but what's it like to play them in football?
It's fun because you get a chance to play in a Big Ten stadium. Regardless if it's football or lacrosse, it's still a big time venue, and obviously there's the historic rivalry. And, you always want to have those kind of rivalry games, and that's fun. And yeah, it's been tiered their way a little bit. And, we're not going to sit here and talk about wins and losses, but, we want to, be a little bit more competitive in that game, just because it is, our Maryland based conference game. They want to win that one as much as we do. And, we got some work to do to, get caught up.
That's true. Well, Coach Dave, thanks so much for coming on. We would love to get you back on before that first game against Catholic. I have to help my girlfriend. She has a disability, so I have to do all the good stuff to this. So,
awesome, guys. It was all good. Can't wait. Love to get back on anytime. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for coming on. Have a great evening.
You too, guys.
All right,
Later.
Thanks, Coach.
Later. All right, let's see. Come on, computer. What are we doing? All right, that's the head coach of McDaniel. The interim coach, Coach Dave Starton. That's his name, Starton.
Yeah.
So thanks for doing that, guys. And we're all makeshift stuff tonight. So let me bring in the next coach for you, and then you guys can take over because I still have to do what I need to do. So
all right.
let me start. Okay, so the head coach of Frostburg University, the other Florida State University. If you look at it, it's Frostburg State University. So
Yes,
yeah, so when I was a kid, I was like, oh, Florida State down is Frostburg? Yeah.
So it's the FSU of Maryland.
Yeah, the other FSU. Yeah, but the one that's out in Western Maryland, and let's bring in the head coach of the Eric Wagner, or Coach Wags, joining us on the program.
How you guys doing?
Wags, how you doing? Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So just talk about you guys started camp so far, or is it still?
Yeah, we started up on Sunday, move-in day, get all that fun stuff knocked out and out of the way. We're a couple days in now, so it's you know how the first day of camps are. Everybody's running around in helmets, so you think everybody's a player and everybody's ready to go. And we start putting on pads here in the next few days. We'll hopefully start separating some of figuring out some of the young guys who can play, who can't play, and getting those older guys ready to go for the season.
Yeah. Did you get affected by the storms yesterday that came rolling through?
They came through, but it didn't bother us. We were on our downtime in the middle of the day.
Okay.
I know around the area, some people got some bad weather and some possible tornado sightings. From that standpoint, we didn't go out until later in the evening. And honestly, it made the day a lot nicer in the evening because it went from hot and humid to nice and cool.
That's true. Adam, take over. I
will. So, let's talk about your first game of the season, because you go to a town that I'm very familiar with, New Haven, Connecticut, and it's home to New Haven College as well as Yale. So what's it like, to go up to a city like New Haven that has so much history, and start your season up there?
We're excited about it. Nobody on our team's played up there player-wise. Our staff hasn't. We know what New Haven is and a perennial power in their conference, playoff contender each and every year, and kind of looked at it as an opportunity to open our season with somebody that's very good, very talented, and go from there and see where we are and give our guys some motivation going through camp, knowing that, hey, we got a real opponent, a playoff opponent. Somebody, when you watched the playoffs last year, played Shepherd real tough. I mean, as tough as anybody had really all year. From that standpoint, they had to go down there to play. So we know what we're getting into. We're excited about it. It's given our guys a lot to work towards during camp while we're installing offense and defense and special teams and getting ready. But the opportunity to take on a team like that opening up was something we didn't think we could pass up.
And I will say that there's a lot of really good pizza restaurants in New Haven. So your team likes pizza. There's a lot of good ones up there. And this marks 50 years that Division II has had athletics this year. So what's it like to coach in Division II?
Oh, it's been extremely enjoyable. Came out here as a defensive coordinator in 2020, and that was the year right after Frostburg State had made the transition from Division III to Division II. So it's been enjoyable. It's been great. The competition is fabulous out here. Whether you're in the Mountain East Conference or if you're in our region and you're playing GMAC schools, PSAC schools, Northeastern, whoever it may be, there's just so much talent when you look across the board. I think a lot of it shows up, and I don't know how much it'll stay like that with the transfer portal and guys being able to leave, but there's always Division II kids getting NFL looks and getting NFL tryouts. So I think it's just one of those levels that it's so great because you still have the love of the game and guys playing from that aspect, but you also have some players that are just great talents, and whether they're an inch too short or maybe a step too slow, or they matured a little late, or whatever it may be, by the time they hit 21, 22, 23, they're really good football players. And there's a lot of guys at this level that could be playing FCS and FBS football, and we're really finding it out now, as some of them go in the portal and can go up to bigger schools. But before that became an option, a lot of people at the Division II level knew that there were guys like this all around.
Yeah, I've been looking at your schedule, and you guys play UNC Pembroke, Wheeling, West Liberty, some really great schools in your conference. So talk about your conference as a whole, and what makes it so unique.
The MEC is a, from top to bottom, extremely talented conference. You have to be ready to go every single week. It doesn't matter. There's some road games that are tough. You know, you go on the road when you have to go down to Pembroke, or you have to go to Concord, or you have to go to Notre Dame. And even when those teams come out to here, sometimes you get some teams not from the area, and you might get a little bit of advantage. You can get some wind, you can get some weather, you can get different things along those lines. But when you're playing all the other West Virginia schools or schools in the conference that are used to the weather in this area, it doesn't give you that kind of advantage. So, but you have to be ready to go every week. I think our guys found that out last year, where, you know, you can be up against somebody one week, and then the next week you're down and every game is going to be a fight from that.
Hey, Matt, you got a question for Coach?
Yeah. In fact, I got several questions. First question is, so what are some things you're going to have to do in order to pull off a victory against New Haven on August 31st?
Well, camp has to be great. We got to come in. We've already got to the part of seeing who's in shape, who's ready. Now we're going into the installation period. So, hey, who can pick up the offense, the defense, who can get special teams ready? When we show up to that first game, we have to be ready to go. The first game is always the toughest, because you're always trying to work out the transitions from offense to special teams, defense to special teams. Getting everybody on the same page. It's your first time against live action. You've went against yourselves over and over and over again. So there's a lot that goes into it, but really making sure guys mentally are prepared, physically are prepared, and that you've done a good job of, you know, ramping yourself up to that first game, getting guys healthy. And when you hit that first game, you're peaking. You don't want to peak, you know, second week of camp and you're beating guys up, and by the time you get to your first game, you're limping into it. So you got to really make sure that everything in your schedule through camp is leading towards that you're playing your best at kickoff.
Yeah, Coach, you're playing.
Go
ahead, Matt. Finish.
Okay, so what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen going from Division III to Division II since Frostburg has gone ahead and transferred from Division III to Division II?
I just think you always get an opportunity to go out and recruit a little bit different of a student athlete. You might be able to cast a wider net, go up into Pittsburgh area, more into West Virginia, down into Northern Virginia, and those areas. And Frostburg's done a great job of that their entire time. But, you know, when you're able to have scholarship, you're able maybe to entice some more kids in those areas. It's very hard to go into Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania and try to recruit guys away from all the PSAC schools when you don't have scholarship from there. But you just kind of get a little bit of a different athlete from there. But it's, you know, at the end of the day, football is football. You know, sometimes you get a little bigger kid, a little taller kid, a little faster kid, but they're still all blocking and tackling.
That's true. You know, after getting tired of hitting the same people, and you want to see somebody else, you know, it's like, you know, you don't want to hurt your other players, and you're like, okay, I'm done. But when you take it on a team like New Haven, the first time you never played them, so how do you get film? Is there anybody in your conference played them before? Do you look for different schools that's similar to what they do, or how do you prepare for a team you never played against?
Well, from a coaching perspective, a lot of times, you know, when you're in season, you'll film exchange, conference and stuff like that. And a lot of teams will, you know, just gentleman's agreement. Hey, let's trade 2 films from last year, 3 films from last year, and we'll go off of that, just so everybody has kind of an idea going into it. You can always kind of go through stats, get an idea. They run, they pass, what do they like to do? And then sometimes, you know, you're able to find little clips of highlights on YouTube here and there, and you're just trying to get a base idea. Sometimes I think it's fun. Sometimes I think it's fun going into a game where you don't have a ton on somebody, because you have to be ready and your coaches have to be ready to adapt, to change. You have to be able to make adjustments. And that's a very important part of football, just not the first game, but all season. If you can't make adjustments in the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and change what you're doing because they're beating you on something defensively, they're getting you on a blitz, or offensively, they're getting you on a play, you're going to be in trouble as the year goes along. So having that ready to go the first game, I think, is always fun from that. But usually you exchange a couple games, so everybody's kind of feels like they at least got a little bit of a baseline. So as long as they don't come out and run triple option, I think we feel good so far.
Yeah,
that's true. Well, Coach, thanks very much for coming on tonight, and good luck with camp. And we'll try to get you on before that first game on August 31st and see how you guys are that week, because you're done with camp and you're going to get your preparation for that game, and you'll be in film study and all that stuff. So we'd love to get you back on, and maybe we get one of your star players on too and see how they're doing.
All right, sounds good. Really appreciate it, guys.
All right, Coach. Have a great evening. Thank you so much for being such kind with the weather.
Yeah, no, worked out. Glad it worked out. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And have a great evening.
You too. Talk to you soon. All right, see you. Bye. All right, that's Coach Eric, Coach Wags, of the head coach of Wagoneer, Eric Wagoneer, from the head coach of Frostburg University. I need to touch base something here, folks. We have time before our next guest coming at 8:25. Erroll Reese, who is the host of the Sports Shop in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. If you just woke up yesterday and you're trying to figure out, the Orioles won 70 games, we were talking about that earlier, Adam, but there's some little bit controversy with that.
Yes, there is.
Yes. Let me play the video of a very good reporter. His name is Kevin Brown, who does the games on Maston here in Baltimore, the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network. You need to judge to see why we're talking about this. So here it is.
For the Orioles, Brandon Hyde has felt like this has been maybe the toughest ballpark to play in, but the Orioles have a chance to do something special today. They've already clinched at least a split in the series, winning 2 of the first 3, and they could pick up a series win behind Tyler Wells today. It's been a minute. The Orioles split a 2-gamer with the Rays in June. They had lost their last 15 series here at Tropicana Field. You have to go back to when our now colleague Brad Brock picked up the win in the series finale, June 25th, 2017, the last time the Orioles won a series here at St. Pete. Already got 3-2 at the Trop this year after winning 3 of 18 the previous 3 years combined. It is a stark difference, Ben, and it is not a bad Rays team. It's not like all of a sudden the Rays became slouches in the American League East. They've led this division every day, but now 2, and the Orioles once again are back alone in first place.
Hey, folks, if you're just logged on to our program, what is wrong with that situation? Is there something wrong?
Nothing. There's nothing wrong.
Okay.
There's nothing. There's nothing wrong. And for all of you who every single Major League Baseball announcer, it doesn't matter what team it is, they are behind Kevin Brown. It's called Kevin Brown does an incredible job at Masson. He also works for ESPN. And what the Orioles did, I'm sorry. Why? I mean, he was stating facts. I mean, and you look what Gary Cohen said of SNY, Dave O'Brien and Nesson. I even saw today that Michael Kay of the Yes Network, he broke down and crying. I mean, it's like I see online hashtag free Kevin Brown. And I think Chris and Matt, I saw online that August 11th, Kevin Brown may return to the Orioles broadcast.
May return to
right. So it's like
he may come back after what was he doing? Yeah, like it's understandable.
He was doing nothing wrong. Nothing wrong.
Adam, it's like I was listening to Bob Murphy, okay, and Bob Murphy back in 1990, Bob Murphy and the Mets were playing. Yeah, Bob Murphy was doing Mets and Phils in Veterans Stadium. I was watching this video last week, and he said, and the Mets won 10-9. He goes, finally, we won the damn thing. Finally, Okay, he's getting involved with the game.
Yes.
Okay. Did Bob Murphy get suspended by the Mets
No.
organization for saying damn?
No.
Okay. What is this clown down? I'm going to call Mr. Angelos out, John Angelos, if he's watching my program.
Go for it, Chris.
Okay. You're a clown, dude. Okay. You're a freaking clown. Okay. You have no clue about baseball. You have no clue about anything in life. Okay. Your daddy gave you the money to go play GM. And if you're listening to my broadcast, come get me. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I really don't care about your freaking organization because you're ruining the Orioles. You're ruining my mom's Baltimore Orioles, who basically she grew up watching Brooks Robinson and everybody I know around here because you have no clue how to run a program.
Thank you.
Okay. You have a terrible stadium. You ruined a nice ballpark with this left field wall, Adam, that I couldn't even put my freaking body. I'm 6'3", okay? Yes, I'm a little heavy,
I know that.
Okay? A little fat around the waist,
Yes, I know. Yes, Chris.
Okay. But when you go to a ballpark, you want to feel okay. You feel, you can stretch your legs out, have a great time. I was literally like this.
Wow.
For 4 innings. I looked at Steve, who normally comes on our program. I was like, let's go and take a walk around the ballpark. Okay? The food is expensive. You have no cash option anymore. You have to use credit card. So basically, if your credit card is not working or you don't have one, you're screwed. You can't give anybody, cash anymore. God forbid you have cash. And I hope people are enjoying this broadcast because this is just ridiculous. How you have a broadcaster who basically is a great broadcaster, does a fantastic job, and he wasn't critical about your organization. He was basically saying, hey, it's been 15 series since the Orioles finally won one down in Tampa. How critical is that? It's not like he's calling out the organization saying, oh, you guys are a bunch of failures. You can't win 15 series. They just swept the Mets, who basically right now I'm really upset about. I'm still angry about how we look like last weekend down at Camden Yards, and that's embarrassing.
Yes.
And all these people who spend $60 a ticket going down to watch the game tonight, and they like Kevin Brown. They like watching Masson broadcast with Scott Garceau, who we know as well. We haven't seen Scott Garceau on the program either. That's something we need to find out what's going on with him.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you think about this whole fiasco? You don't see this with if Chris Schenkel was still around, what are you going to do? Fire Chris Schenkel?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting, and so so the thing is that I mean, I don't know. It's what's just sad, and it's just interesting what's happened.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like he wasn't saying calling out somebody.
No, he was doing his job.
Yeah, he was stating the facts.
Yes.
And if somebody down at Camden Yards, a front office person, has no idea what stating the facts are, how do we get out of baseball and go to work at Home Depot and cut some wood for me? Or go to Matt's laughing, or go to some charity organization because you have no clue how to run a baseball program.
Yeah.
And now this is funny today, Adam and Matt. I was reading on the way over here to Aunt Kitty's house, Aunt Ed's house. Thank you for her letting us broadcast from her office here. Now the Orioles are backtracking because the Athletic went to them and asked them a question so is Kevin Brown suspended? Oh no, he's not suspended. Where is he?
That's what I'd like to know too.
Okay, if he's suspended, then why did you report it last night that he was suspended? And then today you're going to play a backtrack because you got people who are making negative comments about your organization again. And this team is 70 wins, first place in the American East with young kids.
Yep.
And you're basically now turning this thing into a laughing stock again. Because you don't
know the Orioles fans they're going to take much more of it, Chris. You know that.
I know. And Matt, and we were talking about this today. The Orioles John Angelos hasn't even signed the lease. What are you doing, dude? What do you want? What is out there that you want from the city of Baltimore? They have a strict budget anyway. They can't
Yes, they do.
They can't afford anything else. They're having the worst year of homicides.
Yeah.
What do you want them to do? He wants them to make it into like Turner Field, with all those different restaurants. Yeah, that's great. But Turner Field, the new ballpark up in where the Braves are. Yeah, that's great. You have hotels and all that stuff around it. That's great. But they have a nice place for it.
Yes, they do. It's called I have been there only once, but it's called this. It's called Truist Park is in a much better part of Atlanta than Turner Field was, because Turner Field was in downtown Atlanta.
Yeah.
In downtown Atlanta, I wouldn't even attempt to go there because of all the craziness. So it's called where Truist Park is now.
Yeah.
It's much easier to get to. So it's like, I don't know what it's called. I don't know. I mean, Camden Yards to me is a really nice ballpark. It's in a good part of Baltimore, and they shouldn't have changed, left field wall or anything like that. I enjoyed
it where it was. It's like leave the ballpark. The reason why somebody told me the reason why they changed it because they were losing. They were getting out more. They were hitting more. Players were hitting more home runs. Well, get better pitchers. Maybe learn how to pitch. Instead of throwing a meatball pitch down for 3-2, maybe you want to hit the guy with a slider, or a changeup instead of just throwing a meatball pitch and go, let's see if he can hit it on the Utah Street. It's like, give me a break. So let's bring in our next guest, and he's a well-known broadcaster down in North Carolina. Let's ask him this. Let's ask him this situation. I would like to ask him. Erroll Reese here, who's part of the great show down there in Raleigh, Durham. Erroll, we were just talking about Kevin Brown getting suspended from the Orioles for doing his job. So, what is your take on that? Because to me, it's like I was watching the video last night with no power in my house, and I'm like, what did he say?
What was really, and hey guys, thanks for having me on. What's really interesting about that, we talked about that this morning, and as he was talking about it, they had the graphics up in the back, so he wasn't working independently. Somebody in the production room had to be putting the stats up in the back on the screen as he was talking. So I have no idea. I mean, I think it is what it is, and maybe the ownership was embarrassed about what he said or whatever. But my thing is, I mean, the truth is the truth, and I don't understand why he got suspended at all over that one.
Thank you.
We were just talking about when I was a kid growing up watching Bob Murphy, and Bob Murphy was 1990, and the Mets and Phils. The Mets had a 10-1 lead, and they blew it, and they won 10-9. And Bob Murphy said, "We finally won the damn thing, finally." It's like, what was did he get suspended for saying the word "damn"? No.
Yeah, man. You never know.
No, he didn't. No.
It's like, give me a break, people. And this clown is working down at Camden Yards, and I'm calling him a clown because he is a clown. Angelos, who needs to learn to get just sell the team to somebody who knows what baseball is, because this is not the first time they did it. They ran John Miller out of town for something because he was not a homer.
I guess you have to be a homer, man, to keep these jobs.
I know. I guess you got to be brick kissing or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy. And you're down in North Carolina, and you probably see this all the time with different teams and organizations, and you're like, you start scratching your head, going, "What the heck's going on?"
Man, of course, with these colleges down here, university, particularly State Carolina, Duke. I mean, if you were to say, if you're a state guy, you say something negative about the Wolfpack, you may not only be suspended, you may get fired over something like that. You have to
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, to me, it's like, okay, if you say something, but if you're a broadcaster, you're painting a picture and you're trying to show people that, yes, they had a terrible time against one team. It's like what you said about Duke and North Carolina. In basketball, Duke basically had a hard time against North Carolina this year, or it was split, even ways. But some years it's North Carolina taking over, some days it's Duke taking over, and you got to, if you say something negative out of North Carolina, you get shunned down there. Like, oh, how dare you say that about my North Carolina Tar Heels?
Exactly, man. It's really like that. And again, you won't realize until you're walking around with people and relatives don't speak to each other for a while because they're putting for different teams and things of that nature. It's unbelievable. It really is.
Yeah. Well, we have you on the program. We want to talk ACC football because we got a lot of stuff going on with the ACC and this whole new realignment stuff. What do you think? Should they change? I was talking to Coach, the guy from the Sun Bowl, Bernie Olivas, last night on the phone. He can't come on tonight because he has a meeting. But he said if they add Stanford and Cal or whoever from the Pac-4, they should call it the Coastal. It was a coast-to-coast conference.
No. They'll call it the APCC, the Atlantic Pacific Coast Conference.
there you go.
Bring back A&P, the old supermarket.
There you go. That's exactly.
I remember A&P. I remember A&P. Trust me, I remember.
I remember A&P.
Good. I'm gonna use that tomorrow. A&P. I like that. But what's interesting down here, of course, when the Florida State guys, the president and the board of directors guys and all those guys was like, it's not if we do it, it's when and how we do it. Ironic enough, last night I smoked cigars. So I was hanging out in this regular cigar spot, and I ran into two guys. One guy, Keith Jennings, who played for Clemson back in the day and played for the Chicago Bears, and another guy named Zach Crockett, who played for FSU and played for the Raiders.
Yes.
So I was in there and we was chopping it up because I was like, man, there's no way in the world that FSU is going to be able to do this without having somebody just give them money, because it's $120 million is the exit fee plus the grant of rights fee. All that can add up to be like $500 million.
Yeah.
So my thing is that are they willing to do that, and would it be a return on investment? And Zach Crocker looked at me straight in the eye and said, man, you have no idea. This thing is already done. It may be a private equity firm coming there or some hedge fund. They're going to do a deal. Florida State is out of here. And I was surprised when he said that. Now, he's in the know. He's in the know. But I don't know. That's interesting.
Where will Florida State go to? If they go to the Big Ten, the only team they have a history against is Maryland. And they dominated Maryland from the day one they were in the ACC. 21-2.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the only team they have in there. And then they played Nebraska. We did it last week. We had Danielle on from Tallahassee.
Okay.
And we brought up if they go to the Big Ten, they played Nebraska. They played Ohio State, but not in Tallahassee, or Michigan in Tallahassee.
Right.
The other ones they haven't played Illinois. They haven't played Minnesota. Who wants to go to Minnesota in November?
Right, exactly.
Who wants to go there? No, thank you.
Thank you.
And then they haven't played Northwestern. They hadn't played, Iowa. It's like, okay, that'd be great to see these different schools, but it's all about this. It started with the Big Ten with this new TV deal that they have with CBS and NBC and all that stuff, and Fox. And I think everybody's jealous because they want that piece of the pie.
Yeah, but first of all, the grant of rights deal that ACC put together was ridiculous. 2036. Come on, that makes.
We may not be around in 2026.
That's true. That's true.
It's Armageddon next year. Come on, now.
Man, you know what? I really hadn't thought about that, but you're probably right. But the other piece of it is that again, FSU can't go to the SEC because Florida's like, no, we're good because we have the state of Florida. We don't want Miami and we don't want Florida State back here anymore. We want to control the state of Florida, so that's going to be a no. I'm not sure where they go. I have no idea.
I don't know. I think it should just stay in. If they get Stanford and Cal, it makes it look a little bit better, and they change this whole grant of rights thing. But I feel like, to me, Commissioner Phillips is stuck in the middle because this is something John Swalper did before Commissioner Phillips.
John Swalper, he made a decision, then he retired. How about that?
It's like the mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani. We got the new ballparks for the Mets and Yankees, and see you later. Have a great day.
But hey guys, I really don't know what's going to happen. The Cal, Stanford thing blows my mind. I don't know how you do that. I mean, football, but it doesn't include volleyball and all the other sports. And
it does.
Thing. It doesn't make sense right now. Somebody tell me how that makes sense. Really,
no, it doesn't make sense. Well, Adam, you got a question for Erroll? Go ahead.
Erroll, it's called. I live on the other side of North Carolina near Asheville, so it's
okay.
So it's called. It's nice to talk to someone from the Tar Heel State. Let's talk about the ACC this year. Because Chris and I, we were at the ACC kickoff in Charlotte. And the preseason polls were out, and Clemson is projected to win the conference over Florida State. So, and you have North Carolina, who returns their quarterback, Drake May. You have, of course, the Duke Blue Devils, who return their quarterback, Riley Leonard. So, in your eyes, do you think this year in the ACC could be the year of the quarterback?
Absolutely. Let's not forget about the kid who's at NC State who transferred from Virginia.
Armstrong.
And a couple other guys. This is the best it's been in a long time. In the ACC. When you look at the quarterback in those teams, I really think Drake May is the real deal. I think he is the odds, own favorite to win a Heisman if Carolina wins a decent amount of games. He would have got invited to New York last year if they hadn't folded at the end of the season. So they lost like 4 games, some ridiculous. Georgia Tech, come on, give it a break. But I think Clemson's quarterback, he Dabo Swinney is a good friend of mine. We're from the same hometown, Birmingham, Alabama. Every time he comes down to the ACC, we always chop it up a little bit. He will admit that the lights were a little too bright for K last year for Clemson, and we found out towards the end of the season how he was throwing to everybody but his teammates, and that didn't work out well for him. But so as well as he goes, it depends on how well Clemson plays. But let me say, who my favorite quarterback in the ACC right now is? Riley Leonard is an unbelievable guy.
Yeah, from Duke. Yeah,
from Duke. Did you guys have a chance to talk to him when you?
Yeah, we talked to him on Wednesday. On Wednesday, and I love his mother wrote like "You suck" T-shirt, or something like that. Really? I know my mom told me up like "You suck," but I don't have her give me a T-shirt.
Yeah. Coach Elko made a comment to me and said he's gonna play on Sunday, and I believe that this guy, he's a leader. He's phenomenal, has a great personality. He has the total buy-in of his teammates. I never talked to him other than 2 weeks ago he was in Charlotte. I was blown away. He was the most impressive guy that we talked to when we was in Charlotte. So look out for that guy. I think Riley Leonard. Now, the only issue with those guys is they have a hell of a schedule.
Do they ever?
The schedule's going to be tough. They open up at Clemson Monday night, Labor Day weekend. I'll be there, and that's going to tell me a lot about how well they're going to play this season. Even if they lose to Clemson and play well, it will be encouraging. But we'll see. We have to see for that. But to your point, it is definitely a quarterback lead, and I can't wait for it to get started. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Hey Matt, you got a question for Erroll? Go ahead.
Yeah. So, in your opinion. But I know you kind of already touched on this, but do you think in your deep down your heart, do you think Florida State is going to go to the Big Ten or SEC?
You know what? I'm not convinced they're going to go anywhere. Zach Crockett, he's supposed to have an inside to the inside to the inside. He was saying it's definitely going to happen. But I think Florida State will have a better chance getting into the back or get into the SEC versus the Big Ten, as you guys mentioned earlier. But the jury is still out. We don't know. 2026 guys. And $500 million. So if you're willing to deal with that, and somebody's going to help pay for it, then maybe they will leave. But I don't see it. I don't see it right now. But again, if it happens, I think the SEC is where they're going to end up. Even though Florida doesn't want it there. Yeah, that's what I think.
And with Oklahoma.
And then also what do you think of all this realignment and you got Pac-12 teams like USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington that are all the way out west, and then they're going to have to come east playing Ohio State and Rutgers and Maryland and when again vice versa, those teams are going to have to go out west. So what do you think about doing the cross country flights and everything? That's going to be a huge toll on the players. I mean, the players, the coaches.
Yeah, first of all, it's ridiculous. First, the most ridiculous statement I heard from University of Washington president. She said, "This is really not all about money. It's about the exposure for the athletes." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
It's just that made no sense. I mean, that was. But I did hear something I thought was interesting this morning, is that maybe they'll look at sharing charter planes or whatever. So,
that'd be smart. That'd be smart.
And for example, if USC and UCLA is coming on the East Coast trip, maybe they charter plane together. Then, so the economics may work out that way. But they're looking at creative ways to do it. But I just can't see the volleyball team that has a Wednesday night game flying in from LA to Rutgers for a Wednesday night game. They got fly back. That night back to LA, and they got to go to class the next morning. These kids are students.
Yeah,
I guess they are, but they're not fast becoming professional students almost. It's unbelievable what's going to happen with this cross country. But that's a big concern, and your question is valid. How is that going to shake out? And I think they still got to work it out. But I heard the chartering of planes, collectively chartering and playing together, is one of the solutions in terms of economically how they can deal with it.
Yeah, I was reading your bio the other day, getting to get to know you, and you went to Alabama A&M,
Yep.
and you had a guy who was a Hall of Famer with you, a good friend of yours, John Starworth, who went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, a great wide receiver for Terry Bradshaw. How cool was it to play with him on what position were you in college football?
He played. Yeah, he was about 5 years ahead of me, but we both played wide receiver. And I got to say this. I got to tell this quick story. Now we're both in the Hall of Fame at Alabama A&M. And another thing we have in common is that we both collectively give Alabama A&M University collectively. We give them $2 million a year. That's what we do. Now he gives $1.9999 million, and I give him my $200, and that's why I said collectively we give $2 million. So there you go.
Yeah.
But John Starboy is an amazing guy, great friend, has done very, very well for himself. A lot of people don't know this. He's one of the minority owners for the Steelers.
Oh wow!
When he retired, he got involved in the software company and sold it for like $500 million or something like that. And he's been doing very, very well as an NFL guy. Comes on my show all the time. And you can never meet a better person.
Nice. I was going to ask you about your show. Where can people hear? I'm in Maryland. He's in Asheville, in North Carolina. Adam is, and Matt's up in Northview. Where we can listen to this? Because I would love to listen to. I like listening to sports talk sometimes and listen to different parts of the country to see what they're talking about.
Yeah, I do the same. But of course, first of all, we on every weekday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. Then they repeat the 7 o'clock show during the 9 to 10 o'clock hour. We on WRLSportsFan.com. You can catch us right there. You can catch us at WRLSportsPlus.com, and we also on Roku TV. If you're in the area, we on 99.9 HD2, 6:20 a.m. and 15:50 a.m. It's called The Buzz, and we are Capital Broadcasting properly. I own my own show, but we partner up with Capital Broadcasting to produce our show. So that's what we do.
That's cool.
We've been doing it for the last 10 years. We started off on weekends, and about 6 years ago, we started doing morning drive.
Cool. Nice. That's awesome. Well, let me let you go because I know you have to get up early to get ready for.
Yeah, I do. Hey. So you got to return the favor. So I got to bring you on my show at some point.
Yeah, let me know.
Sure.
We'll love to come on. Yeah, we'll just.
By the way, I love Asheville. Asheville, a great place. So
thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's called. Thank you. It's called. I mean, it's nice living here in the Smoky Mountains, and it's called. And I can say, I love Raleigh, Durham. It's called. It's a nice part of North Carolina. So it's called. One of the days I'd like to come on.
Anytime.
All right,
ACC
cool.
basketball.
Sound good. Hey guys, you guys have a great rest of the evening, and I'll be in touch. And God bless you guys. Take care.
Have a great weekend. Have good luck.
Thank you, guys. Yep.
Thanks,
Thanks,
man.
Erroll.
See you, sir.
Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah.
That's Erroll Reese, who is from the sports shop in Morning Drive down there in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. So that's a triangle right there.
Yes, that is the triangle.
That's
It's called.
That's a hotbed for stuff.
Yeah,
you know.
it's called. It's also known as the Piedmont region here in North Carolina.
That's
So, yeah. So,
you got all the teams: Duke,
North Carolina, NC State, Wake Forest. So, yeah, it's called. Yeah. So, in the Piedmont Triad area, you have like the hotbed of ACC schools here in North Carolina.
That's cool. We want to get some program updates for you guys coming up next week and next couple weeks here on the program. We got some great guests lined up here, and I want to play. We have a little clip here. I'm sorry for the cutting. I was trying to make it look pretty cool. So coming up on next Monday night, we'll have this gentleman on, the commissioner of the Coastal Athletic Association. Commissioner D'Antonio will be joining us. So he'll be joining us next Monday. We'll get him on the air. I got to text him tomorrow, see what's the best time for him. And then on Monday, August 21st, the following on the 21st, this guy played for the Kansas City Chiefs, and now but you see him a lot now. Going to be on NBC. Sorry for the white spots here. So let me, hopefully, here he is. He used to play for the Chiefs back in the. He got drafted in 1983 by the Kansas City Chiefs in that draft. They had Elway and Montana, Elway and Marino. So he was he was picked. So he was picked to play with Kansas City. Tom Blackridge will be joining us by telephone, and then our good friend Adam, who we saw the ACC kickoff, who is the college football analyst, used to play for the Clemson Tigers, and he has a couple ACC championships. I think he might have a national title ring, probably. Our good friend Eric McLean will join us from on August 28th, because that's the week of football, everybody. Get yourself ready for the big games. Big games going up, like we just said. Clemson taking on Duke, on Labor Day night. You got Florida State rolling into Orlando and taking on not going to Disney World, but taking on LSU and the Tigers in at the Champ Sports World stadium, the old Citrus Bowl. And then you got other great games like North Carolina taking on South Carolina in Charlotte on that weekend. That's where the ESPN's College Game Day is going to be.
Yep.
So we can't wait to have these three good guests coming on in the next couple of weeks. So make us part of your Monday night. I know tonight's Tuesday. Hopefully these weather events will be different days for us, so we don't have to worry about it. But we appreciate you all hanging in there. Next week we'll also have Bernie Olivas joining us. He couldn't join us tonight on the program because due to he had a board meeting, one of those lovely board meetings, and he didn't want to say, I'll come on, and then the board meeting goes over out there in good old El Paso. And then we'll get next week James Gaspy, who is the executive director of the Warfel Foundation, the Warfel Trophy gentleman will be joining us. We'll talk about the Warfel Award, and it was won by a Seminole last year.
Yes, it was.
So this gentleman won it last year for his help with when he was at Notre Dame. He started a friendship with a disabled friend of his, and he made a foundation for him to help him get stuff that he needs, and that's what the Warfel Foundation is about. So it's 8:47 here on the program. We're waiting for former Syracuse great and former Baltimore Stallion running back Robert Drummond to join us hopefully shortly. He was out. He was going to be playing some golf earlier today, and he told me he'll be home hopefully about 8:45. He said he didn't bring his computer, so hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he will join in on this. Matt and Adam, did you see this on Saturday night on ESPN? There was a little fight, going on in Cleveland. So it was.
You mean about? I believe it was with
Anderson and
White Sox.
Between the White Sox and the Guardians. So here is the audio courtesy of the folks at ESPN.
Oscar's throw is not in time.
He just missed him at second base. This is another rocket of a throw, and now.
Oh, boy.
Now
oh, my goodness. Here come the benches. Off we go. It started with Anderson and Ramirez. Swings being taken. Kopech had to hold him back, and everybody's spilling out here in Cleveland. Here's how this started on the throw to second base. Ramirez went in between the legs of Tim Anderson, and Ramirez says, get out of the way.
Well, then Ramirez points his finger in his face, and that kind of started things.
Yaz just came sprinting back up the stairs in his catcher's gear, and we have some version of round 2. Eddie Rodriguez is in there.
With DeMarlo
Hale.
He seems to want a piece of Pedro.
Evidently. Oh, my goodness. Mike Sarbaugh now getting after Pedro Grifol. And off we go, spilling into foul territory in as long of a brawl as you're going to see in Major League Baseball nowadays. And it's not over.
No, it's still going on. And there's still a few guys ready to unload some punches in this one.
Now, Chris, you know what that was? That was, Chris, Matt, that was a good. Now that was a brawl.
Yes, it was.
That was a brawl.
It was. I was trying to get the Indians broadcast because the Indians broadcast guy was funny because he was doing the play-by-play of the fight, and he goes, "Down, go Anderson! Anderson's down!" Anderson.
Tom Hamilton Tom Hamilton does the play-by-play for the Cleveland Guardians up there.
Yeah.
In Ohio, great broadcaster. Huge respect for him.
But it's like down goes Anderson, down.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, somebody's getting their lumps here today. Yeah. So Adam, I do have to ask you a question. Are we going on Dan Torres' show on Monday?
No, on Thursday, no, because I have to be at work at 10 o'clock, so I told Dan I couldn't do it.
Okay, I was just wondering because I'm trying to figure out what my schedule is because right now we're figuring out if we have power or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't worry about it. All right, cool.
Yep.
Because you asked me about Tuesday.
So Chris,
what?
Chris, do you and Nicole still not have power?
We still don't have power, and Charlie and Suzanne don't have power either. And according to let me see if anything's going on here. Yeah, they said something about Thursday. Yeah, I'm like, really?
Thursday?
Yeah. Like by before 11 o'clock, but I feel like it's going to be probably earlier. They have to get everything. So let's see here. Speaking of meeting last, and it's an early part of the weekend. That's nice. Let's see here. Let's go to the Adams map here. Maybe we could probably get some power on here. Yeah, but what can you do? Yeah.
Man, Thursday, that's a long time.
I know. It's ridiculous.
I mean, did your area up in Baltimore County get hit hard?
No. It was just because everything is we're on a different grid and there's nothing around because we went, I went out with Charlie today and didn't see anything. So wow. I feel like to me it's just I think they're all out in Carroll County, dude, because they have to make sure Carroll County is okay.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so we're going to be last resort here. Yeah, so let's see here. We're at 50 plus. So 8,000 people are still earliest report. They said we might get it at 1 o'clock this morning.
Oh, that's good.
No, that's early. No, wait a minute. No, what's today? That was yesterday. It's 1 a.m. So they don't even know.
Wow.
Yeah, so ridiculous. Yeah. Let's see here. I don't know. I'm trying to see what we can find here on my account. Let's see here. Can you find something here? Wait to say outage. Viewer outage. Check outage status. Here we go. Let's check in here. We're waiting for Robert to join us. Is he logged in yet? No, he's not. Okay. I saw him log in and he logged back out. So anyway, we're waiting for him to join us. Yeah, so we'll see here.
So Adam, did you guys get any bad storms down there?
Yeah. Yes. Yesterday, I heard thunder and lightning, but we didn't lose. But we didn't lose power here where I live. Here in North Carolina. So lights flickered a couple times. Other than that, it was all good. I was surprised we didn't. So when I heard them, I was like, I'm glad I wasn't at work yesterday, because if it's thunder and lightning, we are not allowed to go get any shopping carts from the parking lot.
Yeah.
So
really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I was like, I'm glad I didn't have to work.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I got home just in time before the storm came, and it was like, we rushed in the house, and then I was going to take a shower, and all of a sudden, like, the power went out. I'm like, okay, forget that idea.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was amazing because, like, it's like the sky wasn't clear. Okay, it was definitely getting cloudy and darker and stuff, but it was amazing, Adam and Chris, because within like a 5-minute span, it went from literally dark to like really, really dark, and then really windy, and the winds just picked up like you wouldn't believe. I mean, you had 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and then rain, lightning. I was like, geez. I mean, it was just unbelievable how the weather just changed within a 5-minute time frame. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Well, here's what BG&E is saying about where I live. Let me pull this up here. Yeah. And this is, if you're BG&E, if you're watching this program, get to work. Look at that. Restore or on or before August 10th. That's Thursday. So
wow.
So it could be
before 11 p.m. Wow.
Yeah, so it could be tonight. It could be tomorrow night. It could be Thursday night. Yeah.
Chris, my recommendation is go to a local swimming pool and bring your bar soap and bathe in there.
Well, that's why we're over here in its house. She has power, and we're going to take, after I'm done with the show, I'm going to take a shower and get done over here, and then get ready to go home for. I work like 9 to 2:45 tomorrow, so I'll be home just in time for the fun and excitement of Generator Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was fun.
Right,
it was
Cowboy.
The generator out today. Yeah. It was great. It was a great time. I will remember those chairs, those memories.
Yeah.
I'll be like, no more freaking power. Yeah, my parents live in Bel Air, okay, Adam, and Matt lives near Bel Air too. Everything is underground. Is your power line underground or above? Adam?
It's above.
Above. Okay, so when you have a storm of that magnitude, yes, you're going to have power outages no matter what.
Yeah.
So if you're BG&E, you should be figuring, and if it's supposed to be alert day, and when the airport in Atlanta canceled 200 flights in the afternoon at 6:20 in the morning. It's called overtime.
I know, bro.
It's called overtime.
Uh-huh.
But nobody wants to give out overtime anymore.
Oh, well, Chris and Adam, do you want to hear something really interesting?
Sure.
Harford County government and Harford Community College closed early. Like the Harford County government closed. Now, I don't work for the government or anything, but okay. The Harford County government closed their offices and told their employees to leave by either 2 or 2:30 yesterday. Wow. So they were out of the building by 2:30. Okay, Hartford Community College closed at about that same time, 2 to 2:30 yesterday because of the impending storm. I mean, the impending
yeah.
Well, I understand that the storm was hitting and stuff, but I mean, it was like wow. Like I mean, I have never seen them close down early for like I've seen governments and colleges close down for snow, for sleet, but never for a storm. I mean, yeah, during the summertime. So this was definitely a storm of epic proportions.
I agree. So we're going to be, hopefully we'll get back into, but next week we'll be hopefully back on the air at 7:30 on Tuesday night, hopefully back in our own studio. Hopefully the power will be back and, we'll be fine there as well. So I guess Robert forgot to log in. I saw him on the dashboard and then he logged back off. I guess he's having problems up there in Syracuse. But anyway, it's good to see Charlie and Suzanne. They're leaving, Nicole's parents. So anyway, let's just talk about Syracuse real quick here. We had Adam and I saw them down at Charlotte, a couple weeks ago. Dino Davis was, at the podium. You had Wax, the linebacker from Maryland, who does really good. He's a good linebacker. He might be in the NFL this time next year. So, what's your take on Syracuse, Adam? Do you think you feel like Dino Davis is on the hot seat? Like, if they don't shape up, he's going to be gone?
Yeah, I do. And, Syracuse has a tough schedule this year. So if I'm Coach Dino, if I'm Coach Dino Babers, Syracuse is picked toward the bottom of the ACC when it comes to the preseason poll. And in fact, Clemson in the preseason, Syracuse in the preseason ACC poll was picked 10th. Okay. So, it's not the bottom. It's in the middle. So, they do have they can improve.
Right. They should try to improve, so, I'm trying to find something for you guys. I had one of these interviews we did from, down there.
So Adam, while Chris is trying to find that, what do you think this realignment is going to do for college football? Do you think it's good for the game or not?
Well, I've been hearing several things, about, we're going back to the days of the College Football Association, like we had in the 90s. When I heard the news that Arizona State, and Utah were leaving the Pac-12 and going over to the Big 12, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, and if you're able to, the Sports Business Journal, one of their lead reporters, John Orand, he actually put together a good article about the Pac-12 regarding their TV package that everybody was bidding on. Let's just say that Apple, they wanted like $23 million.
Jeez.
ESPN, they wanted a much lower package. I was reading that maybe CBS have put together a package just for college basketball games. How's that? I'm thinking You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, there he is. Here's Robert. Let's bring him in. I didn't
I'm
see
sorry.
him.
I was sitting here. I thought you were going to call. I didn't know I was supposed to.
Hey, how you doing? I saw you log in. I'm like, is it? Did you guys storms up there like we had down here?
No, man. I thought you. I was looking at my phone. I was like, he says either log on or you're going to call. I was like,
okay, it's my fault. We got a communication error, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you coming on tonight. We're just talking about Syracuse. You know, you're an alumni of the Syracuse. You know, Coach Babers is in his 9th year. Yeah, do you feel like this might be the final season for him if he doesn't, turn it around? Because it seems like every year he gets a chance to turn around and he goes backwards.
He's not well liked here. Let's just say. I'll leave it at that. You know, it's just. We're a small town market. You know, everyone loves the university. You know, university, whether it be the basketball team, you know, the lacrosse team, the football team, whatever it may be. But you know, we pride ourselves in having winners here. You know, and just Babers isn't the great guy. You know, I've met him quite a few times and things of that nature, but he's just, I don't think it's a right fit for Syracuse University. So if he doesn't win this year, I definitely think they'll find a way to, you know, get him out of his contract.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it looks like the running game they need to find somebody to take over, Tucker's spot. He's off to Tampa Bay. So
the young man, LaQuinn Allen, who's coming in, I heard from the coaches, they were raving about him last year, even before Tucker, you know, was on the team. So, you know, he got into that little skirmish, you know, where the university tried to suspend him, but you know, that's resolved now. So, you know, he's going to go out there, and I'm pretty sure he can be an adequate, replacement for Sean Tucker.
Exactly. And you got a question for Robert? Go ahead.
Now, what was it like for you? You know, were you around? Were you around when Paul Pasqualoni was head coach?
Coach, I wasn't at Syracuse, but I'm from Syracuse, so I always came back to Syracuse.
Were you there when Don McPherson was head coach?
With Dick McPherson?
Yeah.
Yes, he was my head coach.
What was it like to play under him?
You know, Coach Mack was a great. God rest his soul. You know, he had a knack for being able to, you know, get the best out of his athletes. You know, it's just Coach Mack was just the type of person who it just wasn't about football with him. It was about he wanted to understand your family. He wanted to understand how you were doing off the field. Off the field was as important to him as on the field. You know, so to me, I mean, he's sorely missed. Probably the greatest SU coach ever. You know, but the type of person he was, there'll never be another coach like Coach Mack at Syracuse.
Yeah, I was doing some research, Robert. I found some old footage of some games. Like on YouTube, they have some old ones. Like you guys played against Colgate back in the 80s. Yeah, like look at this field. It's like sorry for the quality, folks, but yeah, it's like it's the Carrier Dome or whatever you call it now. You know, and it's like, and I'm looking at it like, wow, you're tailback number 36. You know, and Don Pearson was your quarterback. Yeah, and it's like looking at the field is like that doesn't even look like the field today. That's like an old it's like what is in Pontiac, Michigan. You know, back in the old days.
It's like leather helmets. It looks like leather helmet days back then. Oh my gosh, Tommy Kane. Long time ago.
Long time ago. But playing in Syracuse in the dome. You know, it's still the dome. But Matt and I went up there last year. I thought it was a hockey arena when I walked in there. Yeah, it was, it looks different.
You know, it's just for former players and the people of the city, it's just home. You know, it's a place, it's something that we can call our own, something we can be proud of across the country. You know, when people here, people don't know about the city of Syracuse, but they know the Syracuse sports team. You know, so it's just pride in athletes to go to Syracuse, to be able to do something, accomplish something that, people don't expect us to, and putting yourself in a position to be able to put a city, put a university, put a team on your back, and be nationally recognized.
Is it tough to play in Syracuse? It's like it's almost like a pro team. Like, if you go to these different college towns, like we go to Matt and I go to like Newark, Delaware, or College Park, and is it like, if you guys don't play well, it's like you can't even go to the supermarket Sunday morning.
Oh yeah, you get a lot of boo birds out here. I mean, the one thing I was fortunate was at Syracuse is that even when I had a bad game, which didn't happen a lot. It's just I'm from the city of Syracuse, born and raised in Syracuse. So they would always encourage me, always give me a high five, always say it's going to be okay. You can bounce back. We do. we appreciate you. You know, we depend on you. And it always encouraged me to be able to go out there and shake off anything that ever happened and go out there and try and give my best performance I possibly could.
Yeah. Like Matt and I went up there last year for the Florida State game. We had you on with Dan to Durham. We were wondering what's the world's going on at Syracuse, because like you said, they don't bring back any alumni or nobody shows up, and wasn't it Bayheim used to bring everybody back, for and it's like you're trying to figure out what's the deal here. Anything changed since we talked about that?
No, Babers is still here. It's just that he doesn't get the city of Syracuse, and it's just like us as former players, we don't have a connection with him, and that's not good if you're the head coach of a university and you don't have a connection with his former players, and not just his former players, and it's not just me, it's Donovan McNabb, it's Marvin Harrison, it's down. I can go down the list of former players that have played. They're great former players that just don't have a connection with them, and it's hard to build a program, when you can't get the former players to come back and be able to build a program, help you build a program. It's as if he wants to do everything by himself. We're all like, sure, go right ahead. It's not going to. No team in Alabama had former players come back. Clemson's had former players come back. Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma. I can go on and on and on about the great traditional schools that players come back. But Babers wants to do it his own way, so we wish him well.
True.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. Matt, you got a question for Robert? Go ahead.
So since we're talking about Dino Babers and this, do you think this will possibly be his last season?
I hope.
Okay.
I shouldn't say that. I like him as a person. I just don't think he's a great fit for Syracuse. I mean, because I'm from Syracuse, I'm fortunate enough to be able to because at Syracuse, the university's on a hill, and the city's down beneath that hill. So, it's a different world on the hill as it is to the city. So when the city and the university don't connect, you got to put fans in the stands, and the fans don't like him here in Syracuse, and that's not going to change. And he'll have to go out there and have a 10-win season. I just don't see that happening. And he doesn't recruit locally. So a lot of people who would like to see more local kids playing, because it gives them, as I said before, we're a small blue collar town, and they love to see their local athletes. I know that because I was one of them. And he doesn't really recruit strong locally. So he's turned off a lot of fans. A lot of fans have given up their season tickets. And I hear this because I have my ear not just on the university, but also in the city of Syracuse. And they're not Dino Babers fans, and they're waiting for him to leave before they renew their tickets.
That's true.
So is there anything that you think that Dino Babers could do that could change the fans' opinion about him, and the fans and alumni can be on his side?
Win. They say winning solves all ills, but it's just, winning would be a start, that'd be a start, giving fans, because, everyone hears about nationally the weather here in Syracuse. So, oh my gosh, you guys have no idea. It's different here. It's a different kind of cold here. I've been all over the country, and Syracuse is different, but come wintertime, that's the one thing when I played, I always prided myself on being able to go out there and play as hard as I can, because I know at the end of the regular season, I could, or my team could actually reward the fans, with a gift of going to a warm weather bowl game. So in 2 January 1st bowl games, another bowl game, which actually we played the Cherry Bowl, but it still gave them a chance and an opportunity to come see us and be able to travel someplace warm, for the rewards of them supporting us during the season. So that's a great thing that that the players look forward towards also, especially somewhere in my hometown. I was always grateful to be able to tell the fans, I appreciate you so much. So now you can travel down to, we played in New Orleans one year. It was 90 degrees when we got to playing. We played in Tampa the next year. It was like another 90-degree game when we got up there. Off the plane. So to me, that's a satisfaction of fans coming, spending their hard-earned money to come watch us play, for us to go out there and play well enough to give them the reward. That was my reward to them.
That's true. Well, Robert, real quick before we let you go, if Dino Babers gets, I don't want to say let go early in the season or middle of the season, who would you like to see to take over for Syracuse? Do you have somebody in mind?
That's an interesting question. I'd have to sit down. The first name that comes to my mind is someone who's really never had a head coaching job, but it's David Walker. He used to be the head coach. Not the head coach, but he's worked on so many staffs. He's in the NFL right now, but he just be somebody who understands how Syracuse operates. He's a local kid from a nearby Rochester. You know, he has a good rapport with former players. You know, he's just someone who could, you know, have a connection where he could reach out to players like myself, and we would love to come up and help him and try and have him establish another powerhouse and do well. You know, regardless if people believe it or not, football is about the connections you make and being able to use those connections to make yourself better. And until coaches get that, they'll never be successful. You know, Dabo Sweeney uses it all the time. You know, Harbaugh uses it all the time. You know, and go on and on and on about the coaches that use their connections to make their programs better. You know, until you understand that, it's not a one-man job. I mean, a coach is only as good as his coaching staff and knows the coaching staff and former players. I'll put it like that.
Right. Yeah. Hey, who's your favorite coach growing up? You know, being in the because you went to the CFL, the NFL.
Right.
Like, I guess Don Matthews was a great coach too, right?
Don Matthews. I mean, like my great coach I played for. Or my great coach is like just growing up. Because growing up it was John Madden. I was a huge Raiders fan because I love Marcus Allen. You know, but I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, that's my high school coach Bruce Quimby, I could say, you know, who really guided me and gave me the best guidance as a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid growing up. Don Matthews, who gave me my chance in the sea. I mean, Buddy Ryan.
Oh yeah.
I love Buddy Ryan. You know, it's just all these coaches just gave me the opportunity and ability to be able to go out there and just be myself and play the game that I love to play. You know, they never held me back. They would be hard on me when they had to, but they were great coaches for the simple fact that they knew how to, you know, turn. You know, here's a young kid who's not sure of what he's doing. He's just trying to fit in. Super talented athlete, but I was just trying to fit in. You know, but then they allowed me to be able to fit in and be myself, and from that I just flourished. I really did. But John Madden is a coach who I never played for, but was my favorite coach growing up. But Don Matthews, Buddy Ryan, the Bruce Quimby, who was my high school coach. You know, they're my favorite coaches.
That's cool. Well, Robert, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and I appreciate you all the time. And we'll try to get you on before one of those. Before we might be up there for the Army game. Man,
okay.
So it'll be fun to see that game. You know, all about option. That'd be cool. Yeah, the whole weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. Still may be a little bit upset, but I still go to the game to support my Orange. Go Orange.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, thanks so much for coming. We'll keep in touch. Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
That's Robert Drummond, former Syracuse running back and former Baltimore Stallion.
Hey, Chris. Before we bring in our next.
Well, speaking of the next guest. Jim Fleming, head coach for Rhode Island, he had something come up, so he'll try to get on for. We'll get him on next week. So.
I'm going to play you guys something from the Orioles game tonight. So, regarding Kevin Brown. So, let's turn this up, and this is what the Oriole fans said at the game tonight. It's called. Let me go back to the game. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Free Kevin Brown. Free Kevin Brown.
Exactly. Well, we'll talk more about that next week, folks. So we're gonna log off here. I want to say thank you for Nicole's aunt for letting us doing here. We'll be here next Monday night. Yep. We'll have Bernie Olivas joining us from the Sun Bowl, because the Sun Bowl is now trying to find some people.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll get him on next week. We'll talk to him about that. We'll talk to the commissioner of the CAA, Coach Commissioner D'Antonio will be joining us. We'll be live at 7:30. Yeah, so thank you so much for folks for tuning us in tonight. Thanks for all our guests joining us. Thanks for Robert Drummond for joining us. Coach Schimmerich, from Towson joining us. We had a great time with Erroll Reese, joining us tonight. So we'll see you guys next Monday night here on the program. I'm going to go get myself in a shower and get some get myself ready to go back to some heat and humidity. Yeah.
So you're gonna get all washed up, Chris, and then you're gonna go back and sweat.
Exactly.
Like a pig, right?
Yeah. So Matt, I'll talk to you in the morning because I work 9 in the morning. So I'll give you a buzz on the way home, the way to work.
Okay, cool. I'll talk to you then, man.
All right, folks. Have a great night. For Chris Heidel, for Animal Eyes, and for Matt Chaganelli. See ya. We'll see you next week.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.